Like we've been talking about, record snowfall blanketing the Charlotte metro area this weekend, burying roads under several inches of snow, and this on top of ice for a lot of folks. The North Carolina Department of Transportation deploying crews, of course, all over the place. So we have Jen Goodwin joining us this afternoon as we touch base with you. Jen, good afternoon to you. How are you after this weekend?
Hey, Jane, I'm pretty caffeinated, but otherwise pretty good. Hope you're well.
Same girl. Caffeine under the eyes, caffeine all over. Give us an overview of the weekend and compare this to the weekend before.
Oh gosh, it's almost the same in terms of pre-treatment, putting down brine solution to get the roads kind of giving them a little preventive barrier against any ice or bonding to pavement. I guess the biggest difference is the use of cut and shove crews, where we were concerned last weekend with the significant ice accumulation of settling on limbs, and then maybe limbs hanging and falling on power lines, and we were worried about having to cut a lot of limbs and shove them out of the road. With this, it's more plowing and salting and trying to get travel lanes passable and navigable for traffic. So all throughout the day Saturday, I mean, as soon as it started and as soon as there was measurable snow on the ground, the plows were out. The plows were out all weekend, and they're still out now. And we've been working with contractors all around the area, doing rotating 12-hour shifts. And the interstates are looking pretty good as of this morning. I think we had about 70% clear. So they're working on trying to clear ramps and shoulders and gore areas where there could be piles of snow, and where there could be areas where freezing may occur. And working on primary roads, where those are the NC and the US routes, and then those heavier secondaries, and then back to the lower volume secondaries, and then finally the neighborhoods. And I know this is a multi-day effort, because it's not something that's going to take a day or 2 days to clear. We're talking maybe towards the end of the week, possibly, if we continue to see temperatures that aren't very warm. I mean, it is warming and melting some, but then anything that melts and doesn't completely dry freezes again. And then we have the black ice that is a hazard in the morning. And we have to watch out in shaded areas and bridges and overpasses, and any areas that didn't get any treatment or may not see as much traffic. So main roads might be great, but your neighborhood streets might still be a skating rink.
Yeah, that's exactly what a lot of our own folks are experiencing ourselves. Any supply challenges then? Because, one weekend after another.
Yeah, it's a national problem. The salt demand is all over the country, with these storms that continue to not affect just a small area, but I mean, the storms that we've had recently, some have affected 2/3 of the country at one time. So, and then the cold temperatures and the little melting doesn't help either. So, it's not a challenge unique to us, but we've been smart about being wise with the resources that we have. And we have plenty that we got through this event, and we still have some here. We're not out. I know there have been a lot of stories circulating about not having anything at all, but that's not the case. We do have salt on hand, and we are working with suppliers that are vendors with NCDOT to try to get more. So we do have enough, and we are shifting resources even internally as we're able to share what we have and to be able to use it to get those roads clear. So we're still in good shape.
Yeah, that sounds good. We saw I-85 with that major pileup in the Kannapolis area. I don't know if you could lend some insight on 85 itself. It seems to be one of those culprits for real trouble spots. What was there something? Is there something about 85 that we just see wrecks happen there?
So that it was kind of like not 100 cars that were crashing into one another, but it was like they were stuck and didn't have anywhere to go. But it kind of started with one situation around 5 p.m. Some tractor trailers were trying to, there's an incline there as you approach exit 60 and continue north into towards Rowan County. I think they were slowing down for something that was in the road, and then you start to lose that momentum, and then you kind of can't move, you can't go. And with the factor of the snow being there too, that just kind of compounded the problem. And the next thing you know, there were maybe 30, 40 tractor trailers that were stuck in a queue. And then you had other private vehicles that were stuck. So eventually some heavy wreckers had to be brought in. A lane had to be created to kind of release some vehicles out of that queue. And the heavy wreckers had to try to help get some of those tractor trailers out. And at one point, I think the state emergency response team deployed some members of the National Guard to assist with the clearance. And I know the Highway Patrol was on scene. Some of our NCDOT incident management employees were on scene along with the National Guard. So it was an all hands effort, and it took probably about 4.5 hours to get everything cleared. So around just before 9:30, I think all the travel lanes opened back up.
What a mess. So is it like the weather meets lay of the land in that spot along I-85?
I think it was a combination of factors of the snow, the traffic. The messaging we had continued to share was to please stay off the road, avoid any unnecessary travel. We do understand there is essential travel. Of course, commercial traffic is important to move goods, services. All those tractor trailer drivers have an important job and they're essential, but there may be some traffic that's just out there and doesn't have to be out there. I think that might have contributed to the problem some as well. That's what another thing we saw out on Independence Boulevard. We tried to get a plow out there Saturday and had to weave through some of the cars that were stuck, and there was no straight line to plow through. It was kind of like a zigzag, and if we had less traffic to work with, that would help our plowing efforts a whole lot and make things move more seamlessly.
Yeah, for sure. So as we head to the rest of winter, what do you want drivers to know about NCDOT operations during severe times like this?
You know, if we're asking people to stay off the roads, we're not trying to, spoil anything for anyone. It's for your safety. If there's a true emergency, of course, that's one thing. If you're an essential worker, of course, and you work in a hospital or you drive a truck or something like that, and you have to go to your job, that's understandable too. What we're asking is if you're thinking about going out to eat or run to the grocery store or go to the mall or something like that, that's not the time to do those things. We really encourage you to stay off the roads. We have 81,000 plus miles of road to maintain. That's second in the country to Texas, and so it takes a little while to get everything cleared, especially when we haven't seen snow like this in years. And some areas got over a foot of snow in this area. So it's going to take a little while to get it out of the way.
All right. Jen Goodwin from NCDOT, thank you for catching us up with your work. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Hopefully not soon, not too soon.
Thank you, Jane.
All right, Jen. See ya.